Hello, boys and girls. I wanted us to look at a couple of problems together as though we would if we were in the classroom together. I know I post videos for you guys, but I feel like that's not the same as me showing you. We're going to look at a couple of problems and I'm going to show you guys what you should be focused on in order to solve them. So the bar graph shows the number of cousins each student has. How many more cousins does Joanne have than Nora? So we know we're focusing on Joanne and we're focusing on Nora. Let's look at this side of the graph. Actually shows you the frequency. We're going to go look at the names of each student and we're going to focus on Nora and we're going to focus on Joanne. The first thing we want to know is how many cousins Nora has and how many cousins Joanne has. So looking at Joanne, I'm just going to write a J for Joanne and an N for Nora. And I'm going to look at the two and I'm going to try to figure out what the graph shows is the amount of cousins that Joanne has. So I'm going to go all the way down across the line, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, and I'm going to see a 5. That means Joanne has 5 cousins. If I look at Nora and I go all the way across, I go across, and I look at Nora, Nora has 3 cousins. Now, I have the 2 pieces of data that I need to solve the problem. I have the 5 cousins for Joanne and the 3 cousins for Nora. Now, what do I do with those numbers? What do you think I have to do? Okay, so we're going to go back to the problem. And here it says, how many more cousins does Joanne have than Nora? Now, by it asking the question, how many more, that means we need to find the difference between the number of cousins that Joanne has and the number of cousins that Nora has. So when we're finding the difference, we actually have to subtract 5 and 3. So we have to subtract 3 from 5. If we subtract 3 from 5, so we'll do 5 subtracted by 3. That's going to give us 2. So that means that Joanne has 2 more cousins than Nora. Joanne has 2 more cousins than Nora. The next problem we're going to look at is also a bar graph. This particular bar graph is representing club memberships. We know that because the title of the bar graph says club membership. So if you read up here, I don't know if I can highlight this part only. I can't. But this part right here that says club membership is the title of the graph. That tells you what the graph represents or what information is provided in the graph. El título del graph te va a decir de qué se trata la información que tiene. This here is the frequency. Esta es la frecuencia, the number of students, los número de estudiante, and then we have crafts, gymnastics, Spanish, science, and these are all clubs. So we have the crafts club, gymnastics club, Spanish club, and science club. If we look at the crafts club, and I'm going to put this on the side so that we can put the amounts. We have the crafts club. If we look at the crafts club and we look at the frequency, the crafts club has 8 students. So we know that's the total of students for the crafts club. If we look at the gymnastics club, I'm going to put a G here to represent gymnastics. We're going to see that that one has 4 students. If you look at the Spanish club has 5 students. So we're going to put S, 5. And if we look at the science club has 3 students. So for science, I'm going to put SC to differentiate between science and Spanish. So we have 3 students. The science club has 3 students. The Spanish club has 5 students. The gymnastic club has 4 students. Now, which of these clubs can you put together? Which 2 clubs? Because remember, it says which 2 clubs can you put together to equal 8 so that it has the same number of members as the craft club? You want to have the same number of members as the crafts club. Which 2 groups can we put together? Okay, boys and girls, we know that the crafts club has a total of 8 students because it shows us in the frequency table. We know that gymnastics club has 4 students, Spanish club has 5 students, science club has 3 students. Okay, boys and girls, now that you've had a minute to look at the problem and decide which of the other 3 clubs would total the amount of students in the crafts club, we'll look at the problem together. If we add 5 and 3, 5 plus 3 equals 8. So we know, this will let us know that the science club and the Spanish club together will equal the same number of students participating as the crafts club. So the 2 clubs that have to be together in order to get the exact same number of students as the crafts club would be the science club and the Spanish club.